Ooh, that's a good question in the title, and we'll dive into it a bit later when we talk United. If it hadn't have stood though, Mourinho would have been slamming bottles for a very different reason at the end of that match. Okay, anyway, we know almost all of the teams that will be making it through, but there are a few to sort out yet. What's up? I'm Adrian, and welcome to another Champions League roundup video, where we get you up to speed after all is said and done from the latest match day. Without further ado, let's get into it with Group A, where there wasn't a ton of excitement, to be honest, because everything was sort of status quo, with the top two teams in the group plunging themselves into the round of 16, but in different ways. First off, Atletico must have been salivating when they welcomed Thierry Henry's Monaco to the Wanda Metropolitano, a side that is just waiting for someone to come along and just game end them, as Pyro would say. And I mean, Atletico did exactly that, with Koke scoring after 2 minutes, and Antoine Griezmann finishing off a great run by Correa to cap it all off. Actually, to be honest, Falcao capped it all off for them, as he had a chance to score against his former club, and he of course blew it, because that's what Monaco have been doing as of late. Dismal stuff. Falcao has missed his last 3 penalties in the Champions League. In the other match, Dortmund and Brugge played to a 0-0 draw, meaning that both Dortmund and Atletico are through with a match to spare, while Brugge are guaranteed some Europa League football. Monaco, they're just guaranteed 4th place. In Group B, Spurs needed a big result at home to Inter, with the memories of their previous meeting still haunting their dreams, that late finish by Inter. While Spurs pushed all match and Harry Winks had an effort ringing the bar, it was substitute Christian Eriksen, how often do you get to say that, substitute Eriksen, that made the difference in the end, finishing off an incredible Spurs attacking move in the 80th minute. So that makes for 2 wins in a row for Spurs. But what happened in the other match, where Barcelona were already cruising into the round of 16 before it had even started? Well, they certainly didn't have to go easy on PSV, who, to their credit, gave Barcelona a really tough time. Messi scored, as Messi does, while he also set up Gerard Piqué for a not-so-Piqué goal from a free kick. Luuk de Jong did claw one back, but Barcelona, and most notably Ter Stegen, had done enough. Ter Stegen made 8 saves on the night, which is more than he's had to make in any match this season, so PSV really gave it to him. And so, with Barca winning and Spurs defeating Inter, it means that Barcelona, as we already know, are through, and everything's still to play for the second spot in Group B. If Spurs go away to Barcelona and win, then they are through, unless Inter can win by a larger margin than Spurs can manage versus Barcelona. So if Spurs win by 1, Inter must win by 2, etc. Because remember, the Champions League doesn't care much for goal difference. It's all about results between the tied teams and goals scored versus each other, etc. Alright, so it's a bit complicated as far as the second spot in Group B goes, but if you think that's confusing, then we will all be nursing a brain ache after the final match day in Group C, or at least there could be an ultimate brain ache once the matches have concluded in Group C. So, Napoli hosted Red Star, who were just coming off of their victory against Liverpool, but given that much of Red Star's powers lay within them playing at home, Napoli cruised to a 3-1 victory. To be fair to Red Star, they did make it more interesting in the second half, but the first was all Napoli. 3-1 victory, let's look to Liverpool and PSG, where it was all going on. This was quite the match to take in, as PSG basically tried to out-Liverpool, and they did exactly that in the first half. First, it was once again Juan Bernat, the man that Bayern blamed for their poor performance last season against Sevilla. He did it again, 2 matches in a row that he scored. Then it was Neymar who started off the move, sending in Mbappe, who squared it to Cavani. Great stop by Alisson, but Neymar was there to sweep in the loose ball. Liverpool-esque stuff right there, and getting up the pitch with just a few passes, killer ball across the box, then ensuring the rebound finds its way in. But then, Di Maria felt like making things interesting and stuck a foot in on Mane, which wasn't given initially, but the referee found his way eventually, and Milner converted the penalty 2-1, and Liverpool was the better team for large stretches of the second half, but PSG always looked a threat. 2-1 PSG was the final, and Liverpool, for the first time in their history, have lost all 3 of their away matches in the group stage. And their fans may be unhappy with what Verratti did to Joe Gomez, because to me, that's a red card and changes the game completely in the first half. He came in without control, high on Gomez's leg, studs showing, and late. So, as things stand now, Liverpool is in 3rd, PSG in 2nd, Napoli in first. Liverpool must win if they want to go through, and they are home to Napoli. And they will be hoping that Red Star do to PSG what Red Star did to Liverpool, as they will be closing out their Champions League campaign with a match against PSG. If Liverpool fail to win, PSG and Napoli are through. If Liverpool win and PSG tie, then that means that all three teams will be on 9 points, and we get into major Headacheville, which I was warning you about earlier. Group D. This group is all sorted out now. The early match saw the Russian champs taking on the Turkish champs, two champs that haven't been great so far this season, both in Europe and domestically. Or at least they haven't been dominant domestically in Galatasaray's case, as they are in third at the moment, I believe, and Lokomotiv's in like fourth. Well, Lokomotiv got the win in this particular match, meaning they got their first points of this campaign and are just 1 point behind Galatasaray, thus condemning Galatasaray to third or fourth this year. That's right. Before Schalke and Porto had even played their match, they knew that they were through. Despite that, Porto didn't let up at all, as they're continuing to look very good this season across all competitions, this time getting a commanding 3-1 win over Schalke at home. So, Porto have tied up first place with 13 points out of a possible 15, very impressive, while Schalke has sealed up second with 8 points, and Galatasaray and Lokomotiv will be hoping to grab the Europa League spot once the next match day is in action. Group E, We've been better. By the way, in case you're new here, Benfica is the team I support, and well, it wasn't our best showing against Bayern Munich. You know, we made their golden-aged attack of Ribéry, Robben, and Lewandowski look like Ribéry, Robben, and Lewandowski in their prime. I mean, I guess it was cool that Fernandes scored just 30 seconds after coming onto the pitch, 38 to be precise. But we were pitiful, and unsurprisingly so, given the way things are going this season. Rui Vitoria is far worse than Mané-João. Shout out to my FIFA watchers out there. Unfortunately for Benfica though, their fate was out of their hands, as all Ajax needed was to win against Ajax, and it wouldn't matter what Benfica did. And so, with the great team that Ajax has, they got a 2-0 win away to Ajax thanks to a brace from Dusan Tadic, who, by the way, at 10 million euros, is looking like the steal of the summer for Ajax, given the impression he's made on the team already. So anyways, this group is all buttoned up with one match to go. Ajax are bottom, Benfica are heading to Europa, while Bayern and Ajax are into the round of 16. The first time Ajax has managed to do so since, like, 2005? Group F loves to be dramatic, and this past match day was no exception, man. Let's start with the top of the table clash between Lyon and City, after Lyon defeated City in their own home in the last match day, getting them off to a false start. Well, the last time they faced each other, I should say. The last match day, they didn't play each other. Regardless, it looked as if the French club was about to do it all over again, do the double on them. After Max Cornet put the hosts ahead in the 55th, it took City just 7 minutes to reply through Aymeric Laporte. What a season he's been having, by the way, hey? One of the better defenders in the Premier League, for sure. Then in the 81st, Cornet put the hosts ahead once again, only for City to once again find an equalizer, this time via Sergio Aguero, with just 2 minutes after Lyon had scored. And that's how this one ended. 2-2 with City taking the top spot after 5 matches. Now, the ramifications were harsher in the other match between Hoffenheim and Shakhtar, as these two were both fighting to keep pace with the top two, while simultaneously trying to avoid elimination. Shakhtar scored 2 goals in 2 minutes early in the match, only for Hoffenheim to claw them back to 2-2 before the half was up. However, in the second, things got a little spicy for Hoffenheim when Adam Jalai was sent off for some clumsy tackling. A draw meant that both would be eliminated, so each began pushing for the winner, and it was the visitors, Shakhtar, that eventually found it through Tyson in the 92nd minute as he coolly spun with the ball and slotted it home. That was the first time a Ukrainian team had beaten a German team in the Champions League in Germany, meaning Hoffenheim have been eliminated, though can still make the Europa League if they win against City, while Shakhtar is just 2 points behind Lyon. So, winner moves on when those two face each other next, while the loser, should it be Shakhtar, will hope they've done enough to finish in third minimum. Group G, my friends. We'll get the first result out of the way, because after it was looking like CSKA Moscow was going to be a pesky opponent in the standings for Roma and Madrid, following their shock defeat of Los Blancos, they had an opportunity versus Plitzen to make things very interesting going into the final match day. However, They failed ultimately, as the minnows from the Czech Republic put on a second half show to come back from a goal down, capping it all off in the 81st minute when Lucas Haida headed past Akinfeev. That means, after getting their first victory, they are now on level points with CSKA, with both just playing for a spot in the Europa League now. CSKA plays away to Real Madrid, while Plitzen hosts Roma. And boy, does Dzeko ever love scoring against Plitzen. Speaking of those two teams, Real tried to do the double over Roma when they traveled away to the Champions League fortress, that is the Stadio Olimpico. Roma had opportunities to get one over Madrid, but they just simply couldn't take said opportunities, with Under being the worst of the lot as far as blowing an easy opportunity. Absolute trash. Oof. Can you believe he actually missed from this situation? Well, he did, and to be honest, Madrid had some great defensive moments as well, with guys like Carvajal getting in the way of shots, and you just felt like, with the way football goes, the more you miss, the more you're asking for the other team to suddenly wake up and take their own chances. And that's exactly what happened right after the half, when an error left Bale in almost alone, and he slotted it past Olsen. He's been involved in a goal in his last 5 consecutive Champions League matches now. It opened up from there for Madrid, with the night getting capped off by a great team goal that Lucas Vazquez was there to slot away from Benzema's nodded assist. That was Benzema's 100th assist for Real Madrid, by the way, and the ball in from Bale to Benzema was just beautiful. So, 2-0 was the final, and with the results of the other match, even losing 2-0, Roma have advanced to the round of 16 alongside Real Madrid, who have actually clinched first, I believe, given their 2 wins against Roma. Right? And finally, we have Group H, where Plan B is seemingly Plan A and Plan A is simultaneously Plan B. What am I talking about here? Well, Marwan Fellaini, of course. With the likes of Lukaku and Pogba on the bench to start, while Sanchez, the wages pirate, is still lost at sea somewhere, Manchester United hopes fell on their next best creative in the side, Fellaini. And damn it if he didn't go ahead and save them once more, as Fellaini did well to control and slot the ball in the 91st minute, thus inciting some man versus water bottle violence in Jose Mourinho. But wait, should the goal have even stood? Let's take a closer look. Yes, my friends, that is indeed a case of hand to ball in which Fellaini had an advantage due to his hand touching the ball, and if we had that damn VAR, then things would have been different, not only for this match, but the shape of the group as well going into the final match day. Why? Well, first off, Juventus got the 1-0 victory at home to Valencia, with Ronaldo setting up Mario Mandzukic beautifully for the winner in that second half. So that meant that Valencia remained on 5 points. If Fellaini's handball had been caught and that match between United and Young Boys ended in a draw, Valencia still would have had a chance at progression if they were able to beat Manchester United at home on the final match day, given that the first match between the two had ended 0-0 at Old Trafford. So if Valencia had won, that means they would have scored more goals between them and Manchester United, and they would have been through. Pretty frustrating stuff for the Valencia fans, considering that win for United means that both they and Juve have made it through to the round of 16, while Valencia will be in the Europa League. They won't want to hear this, but that's probably for the best for Valencia, though. I am annoyed that my prediction of Valencia making it through ahead of United won't come true anymore when it was so close. Alright, my friends, another Champions League match day over, and we're one step closer to the end of it all. Well, the end of the group stage. If you enjoyed this video, then as always, a like is appreciated. If you loved it, then a subscription is also always appreciated. But other than that, I thank you for taking the time, and I will see you later this week with another Roots of the Rivalry. Peace.